Hi everybody, and welcome to Common Sense HD. Today's show is on motorcycle safety. Before we start, I want to remind you about the website, commonsensehd.com, the website, and as well the upcoming shows. I will be having State Representative Ken Gordon appearing, and as well State Senator Ken Donnelly is going to appear. And to remind you about the show that will be starting next Monday, which is Stephen Lewis, union activist. And today's guest, and I'm very proud to have him on today, and I'm very proud to have someone on that is here talking about motorcycle safety and familiar with motorcycles and the laws regarding motorcycles. Burlington Police Officer Robert Reyes.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
I'm glad you're here. And to get us started, I'd like to just let you know a little bit about motorcycles and the injuries and issues and costs of motorcycles. We both belong to the same gym, and one of the employees at the gym last year died on a motorcycle, and that's my motivation for trying to put this show together. She was a young woman who was 23 and had just graduated from Brandeis University. And she was the trainer at the gym, and she was supposed to appear on a Tuesday to continue her employment there, and we received a message that she had unfortunately died at approximately 1 a.m. That Monday night. And so I thought, well, this just, it shouldn't be. And so I started to work with the issue of motorcycle safety, among the other things. Which you can see on commonsensehd.com, the website. To give you a little background on the significance of motorcycle fatalities and injuries, between 2001 and 2008, more than 34,000 motorcyclists were killed, and an estimated 1,222,000 persons were treated in emergency rooms in the United States of America. The highest death rate and injury rates, of course, it's no surprise to me, and probably not Officer Reyes, is between 20 and 24 years old, and then 25 and 29 years old. They have the highest rate of mortality. And the highest rate, the most common injuries are leg and foot, which makes sense, and then secondly is head and neck. One of the sad statistics is that motorcycle injuries and deaths are on the rise. And so it's really important to bring attention to it, especially as the motorcycle season starts and there are already motorcyclists out on the road. Not only for the motorcyclists to be cautious in their riding, but also what's more important, I think, myself personally, is operators of motor vehicles to be aware of the motorcyclists on the road. I see a lot of people following so close that the back tire of the motorcycle could rub against the bumper on the front of the car. And they are small, but you got to give them space. And so I start today with Officer Reyes.
Hi everybody, my name is Officer Robert Reyes of the Burlington Police Department. I've been riding a motorcycle for roughly about 18 years. I really enjoy it. I think nowadays with the cell phones and everything now, it's important that you become a defensive driver when operating a motorcycle. Anticipate what others are going to do. That's the best tip I can give you. Also, proper headgear. You want to protect your head at all times. With a DOT, Department of Transportation approved helmet that consists of eye protection, face mask from any type of wind debris that may come at you, and also proper protection, padded protection for the top of the head.
Officer Reyes, what do you see as as a rider? What sort of things most are drawn to your attention as issues for motorcycle safety?
I think just the excessive speed, Rick. I think a lot of people don't respect the machines that they're on, and they tend to ride a lot faster than they should be.
So basically, just because a motorcycle goes 150 miles an hour, the road is not the place to try it out.
Correct.
So if you want to go 150 miles an hour, they have tracks up in New Hampshire, down in Connecticut. You can pay the $200, I think it is.
Absolutely.
And you can go 150 miles an hour. You fall off the bike, that's your problem there.
Absolutely.
But here on the road, it's 55, 60, and 65 out on the highway in some locations. I think the other thing is that motorcyclists are unaware of is pedestrian traffic. They try and weave traffic a lot, and I see that that's a really dangerous issue. They're trying to beat the clock, and what they end up doing is losing their lives. They beat the clock, okay. They become what I used to call the sands of time, because what it is, they're in the hole and somebody's dropping the sands of time in on top of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of obstacles, Rick. You know, the roadway is not a racetrack.
Right. What about bright colors? Do you think bright colors help?
Absolutely. I think visibility is very important. Like, again, with the cell phones, sometimes you could be riding at night. Some of the roadways aren't as visible as they should be. And any type of reflective gear would really help out.
Okay. And what about leathers? We had talked earlier before the show, when I did ride, which was a long time ago, I wore leathers all the time, and I came into the habit because I did take the motorcycle safety class up in Epping, and they required that you have full racing leathers with the metal plates and everything, and people used to say, well, you must be sweating your ass off. I say, yeah, I might be sweating my butt off, but my butt is attached to my body, as unlike some people who went sliding on their butt and now are in the ICU because they have road rash so bad that they're prone to infection. Do you?
Absolutely. The less that you wear, the more road you can be pulling out of your skin later.
Right.
So you always want to have your protective clothing, jacket, pants, boots, and hand gloves. Good proper hand protection as well.
Okay. What about hand signals in motorcycles? Are they legal?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. In order to pass a safety inspection, all your your safety equipment on your motorcycle, such as directional, should be operating anyway. But I mean, it can't hurt to use hand signals if with the addition of your motorcycle directionals.
Well, as you mentioned safety, one of the things that we had talked about a little bit earlier was that there's some sort of safety class that people can take.
Yeah, the registry offers a motorcycle certification course. There's plenty of them out there, but you should contact the Registry of Motor Vehicles in Massachusetts to find out the certified classes that you can take. In addition, once you complete that class, you'll get 10% off your insurance on your motorcycle. And it's great for experienced riders as myself and new riders. A lot of great tips they show you.
What about some people don't really understand that many of the same laws are that are related to motor vehicle operation are also related to motorcycle operation, because they think of them as sort of separate. What about alcohol and motorcycles?
Oh, I mean yeah, that's a big one. I mean, there's so much involved with operating a motorcycle. I mean, you have to have hands and eye coordination, and obviously the consumption of alcohol would impair that.
Okay. Why don't we see some of the slides? How about we see some of the slides, Joan? Okay. Well, we're waiting for the slides. Oh, okay, so this slide here, one of the things that's important about this slide, if you could take down the lower, there we go. It shows the injuries by percentage. So the 30% is leg and foot. The 18% is arm and hand. The 8% is the lower trunk. The 20% is upper trunk. The 22% is head and neck. One of the things that's really important to understand about that is not having a helmet on increases head injury costs by 40%. So people who are involved in motor vehicle accidents where there's serious injury, and they're not wearing a helmet, their medical costs are 40% greater. How about another slide, Joan? The fatality slide. And what this slide shows is that there has been, since there is an increase in the number of motorcycle fatalities, injury rates skyrocket at the age of 20 to 24. And then again, which is really interesting, gives me hope, 50 to 54, trying to relive their adolescence again. But basically, the rates of injuries are significant, and so aren't non-fatal injuries. How about another slide, Joan? We'll see what you get. This was an interesting one. For anybody who was wondering about the helmet laws, New Hampshire, what is that, Iowa, Ohio, and Indiana, I think, is that Indiana?
Yep.
Are the only states without comprehensive motorcycle helmet laws. The green states have modified helmet laws, and I know in Texas what that means is you can ride without a helmet if you buy additional insurance. And then the blue states have comprehensive helmet laws. Everybody has to wear a helmet. So you can see there's somewhat of a variation, and I know, well, I was in Texas, which was about 6 years ago, the helmet law changed and became a modified helmet law state. How about another one, Joan? One more slide. There we go. And I think this goes back to, Officer, the importance of the full face shield helmet, because 20% of the face or head injuries are in the face and chin area. That's 20% of the injuries. You know why? Because you land in smack dab flat right on your face. So why not protect it? Because it's basically the most beautiful part of you. And so what we really need to have is to have you that continue, because as a nurse practitioner, I have seen people that have ridden their face, and it ain't a pretty picture at all. So get the full helmet. And a lot of people say, well, it's too hot. You ain't seen how hot it is when you slid across the pavement on July 23rd or something like that, and you're waiting for the ambulance to come. So what I would suggest is get the full helmet, and like Officer Reyes has said, make sure it's got the, which camera are we on? The DOT on it. That's what you really want to have. And do some research about the helmets before you go out and buy one. And make sure you buy a good quality helmet. People get sort of turned off by the cost. They are expensive. But it's much better to have a good helmet than be spending 6 weeks in the hospital. So what are some of the other issues, like, say, motorcycle safety and maintenance?
Well, it's important that you get your motorcycle inspected every year. It's required by law also.
Okay.
Just for, we make sure everything's functioning properly. And, obviously you want to avoid any accidents.
What about the appearance of the license plate? I see a lot of the Rockets having the license plate so only God can see it. Does the license plate have to be fully visible?
Fully visible. It cannot be obscured at any time. Again, they will fail you. You will be failed on inspection based on any obscurities to the license plate.
Okay. And what are some of the sort of incidental occurrences that you've run into as a motorcycle operator over the last 18 years?
I'm glad you brought that up, Rick. I want to go over one of the laws, in specifically Chapter 148, Section 54, which is throwing a lit cigarette or match out of a moving vehicle. That is a criminal offense in Massachusetts. And it's important because, me personally, I had an experience. I was riding behind a vehicle, and the operator threw a lit cigarette out of that vehicle that landed right on my lap. As you can imagine, it wasn't much fun trying to put that cigarette out and operate a motorcycle.
Right, at the same time. Well, what are some of the other issues we've talked about? How about footwear? Because we had mentioned that one of the things. See, I used to ride with riding boots, everything, and I had what I thought was a heavy pair of boots until one day I went down, and that pair of boots shredded like, a piece of paper through a shredder. And so then I went out and bought the American Motorcycle Association certified, UL certified, everything certified boot, because I got burned on my outside of my ankle, and it hurt for a long time because you can't really walk. And so what I was mentioning is seeing the women riding on the backs of the bikes wearing flip-flops.
Yeah, I don't suggest that at all. You always want to prepare for the event that you do get into a crash. Right. Because it can happen. Obviously we try to prevent that from happening, but you can't prevent everything sometimes, and you always want to be prepared if you do fall.
Well, a lot of people I don't think understand the force of a fall, and how even a good boot can get ripped off of a foot, and you can see the boot with the laces right at the accident scene off the foot if it catches right, and it just rips right off the foot. And I don't mean it rips the foot off, though. As a nurse practitioner, I did see that one time. That's sort of the thing. People don't understand sort of the physics of the motor vehicle accident and how much damage can actually occur, because one of the things is that they taught us at the safety class is you want to get away from the bike, because the bike is going to be basically a ballistic projectile, and you're going to be riding